Welcome back, everyone, to episode 125 of the Craftverse series. Between episodes, I went ahead and did a little bit of grinding. You'll see I have 4 stacks of granite stairs and a full shulker box of materials. Let's check what those are. These are going to be cut into slabs. I just didn't have the space to do that just yet. I have all of the stone bricks and all of the chiseled that I should need. All the planks for the actual spawn platforms and the trapdoors for the last platform. I should have everything else that I need to get this going. And worst case scenario, if I run out of logs or planks, I have more logs to do that. So we should be all set. Before I get to that part though, I'm going to try and get this part covered over with what it's going to be made of. And I'm going to make this platform out of the granite. And the upper part, once it's completely finished, is going to get all the diorite. These corner bits throw me off just a little bit. This way, at least, there should be a little bit less spawning where it shouldn't be. Granted, I don't think anything can spawn on the actual corners where the glass is, but I'm not too concerned about that. What I am concerned with is making sure the rest of this looks good. Back around where I started. Almost. Lost one piece. Oh well. Alright, so. Eventually, I will have to get all of this moved over. But first things first, I need to finish up the spawn platforms, and I'm going to do that when it's not crawling with mobs, which it will be at nighttime. There might be some mobs up there during the day because the spawn platforms are blocking off a good bit of light in the corners, but I'm not too concerned about that currently. First, I want to grab all of these, put those away, grab that bit, because this is going to be a heavy block placement episode. Why am I going down here? I need to go up to the top, because I'm going all the way to the top, and that's going to look just a tad better once it's done. Okay, I am missing some log plank. I will get the wording correctly. But I should have enough between what I already have with that stack of logs to finish off these actual platforms. That way I don't have to touch what's in the shulker box because that's meant for the final platforms. This might actually be enough. It's like 1 log per level, essentially, if I want to just make it out of wood and be efficient that way. Otherwise, more durability for the pickaxe. By 1 log, I mean 1 stack of logs. If it was 1 log per level, there'd be a lot more mob grinders out there. Use this to finish it off. Yep, I'll have enough. Good, that's what I wanted to make sure. And I remembered this time to turn the music up before we started so I didn't have to have y'all miss out on part of the content. And I'll let y'all decide in the comments if you want me to keep that original mob grinder or dismantle it, because it shows how far I've come. It's originally on this world, but it doesn't look the best. So the argument could be made that it needs to go for aesthetics, but the argument could also be made that it needs to be kept for world lore. I'm just not sure which camp I fall in. Also, I've done some experiments with my house design in a creative world to try to see how I could best incorporate absolutely everything that Minecraft has to offer between wood types, stone types, storage area design, all that fun stuff. And I think I've come up with a decent enough solution at least for two things. Number one, changing out the logs that go between the sides at a diagonal that are behind those pillars. That will have to be changed to a different log type. The wall blocks that are underneath those fences holding up the diagonal pieces will have to be swapped out for diorite. And the actual fences themselves need to be swapped out for a lighter wood type as well. And it will look a lot more cohesive when I get to that stage. Nice, I calculated that perfectly. All right, so the next phase is getting this in, which means grabbing those and that. I shouldn't need you as long as I don't mess up, but I will take you just in case, because there's always the possibility of a failure, and you should always prepare accordingly. So you never know what accidents may happen when you're building. Accurate. And just based on what's happened when I was preparing this part of it, there have been some unfortunate block placements. Nobody's perfect. Some people like to think they are. I, however, am keenly aware that I am not. So I'm doing this level just a little bit differently than I've placed the last ones, just to ensure it's done correctly the first time. Good deal, and then I should be able to do that and this. 6, 7, 8. Not gonna chance that. I have to come over here anyway, so I'll just plop that down. And I'll go back on this side without risking a jump. Connect you. Good deal. Gradually ease this over. So there's far less of a chance of an issue. And now we're done with these. I will not be putting in any more trapdoors because that is 1, 2, 3, 4, and the 5th layer right here. Now it's just a matter of getting these the rest of the way in. Not quite close enough. Because once this is in and all those trapdoors are down, it's a matter of getting the walls wrapped around and the final top layer. Then covering over it with slabs so it's completely spawn covered. And I should have just enough blocks to ensure that happens. All right, all platforms are in. Oh, let me grab these and then open all these up. There's always one that wants to open and then close. Okay. That one went smoothly. Just in time for nighttime. Oi. Okay. This could go very well or could go very poorly. Either way, we're going to find out. If we hear mobs spawning and falling into the water streams, I'll know it's already working. Nobody's spawning up top yet. Hopefully they won't. Still nobody. It's always good to be cautious when you're building one of these at night. Especially if you don't have wings, which I would not recommend doing if you do not have wings. You can get knocked off very easily by a sniper. Or blown up by a creeper that spawns on the platform that you're surrounding. I believe it's set to normal. I just haven't heard or seen anything spawn. Well, if it's not, I'm going to take advantage of it. If it is, then we're just being very lucky right now. Surprised I haven't seen a spider at least. process of getting this done layer by layer, that could change. Right about now, I would expect to be seeing spawns. It's most likely set to peaceful. So I don't think I'm far enough up that things wouldn't spawn. Thankfully, I have such a lit up area over there, nothing is spawning on my house. Alright, so at least half of it is completely covered with that block I just placed. So if I'm going to hear something, I'm going to start hearing it now. It appears not. And I'm okay with that because that means getting this part in is at least the easiest it could possibly be. I would prefer to have them start spawning when I'm ready. And with that, the whole roof is in, and now I just need to get the slabs portion. So I need to run down into my enchanting area where there is one. Let's see if there are any mobs spawning down here now. So I don't remember changing it to peaceful. Nothing is spawning. It's very clearly set to peaceful. I swear I don't recall setting it. Yep, peaceful. Let's change that. And now the mob grinder should at least be getting occasional death drops. Before I go to sleeps, let's go ahead and chop these into diorite slabs. I may put a design on the roof later, but for now I just want to have all the things I can possibly have in place. Okay, that's already starting to look nice. The diorite has a brown coloration? Huh, I would have thought it would be red. But it almost matches the pathway, which is straight brown. It's not terrible, it does serve as a border. It's doing its job. Let's take a look up here. Okay, yeah, I like that. I don't like my flying skills, but I like the way this looks. Okay. Yep, there's the spiders I'm hearing. So the spawn chamber is active. This may not be the most fun way to watch somebody put stuff in, but it is the safest and most effective, so you don't overlay and risk breaking your ceiling. Some people may say all you need is torches to light it up. I say let's completely permanently block spawns from going up there by putting slabs so you never have to stress about it. It's not even a thought that needs to enter your mind, because nothing can physically spawn on a bottom slab, which is why it's perfect for the nether. Sometimes you misplace a little bit. At least I do. Because I am but a lowly human. Neither deity nor mob. One more lane. And then I don't ever have to be up on this roof again. Unless I'm ready to change out the block pallets, in which case that would be fine. But this is totally spawn proof now. Which means everything inside is where all the mobs will be. Yep, we're starting to hear it function, which is good. It's got an auto sort feature and the funnel is hooked up. In fact, let me actually go in there and verify that. I said this was on normal earlier and it clearly wasn't. So let's double check. Yep, I did in fact hook up the rest of the system. So this should start to be receiving the occasional drop. These ones on the edges here are all for wool types. So I have to get those sheep up top into the middle and then bred and then put them into their locations. But before I can even put them into their locations, I have to have their locations built. So I need to go get a bunch of glass, and I don't know how much is remaining. I also need to have a ton of hoppers. Because for these lanes to work, the hoppers need to go where they're supposed to. Okay, so I'm going to actually do something devious this episode. We're going to go into one of my creative worlds, and I'm going to showcase what it is I'm building here. So I will be back in the new account. All right, everyone. We are back, and this is my creative testing world on my alt account. So my sprite's going to look just a little bit different. And so is the mob grinder, because originally I had it built out of deep slate on another world, and I thought this was going to be just close enough, but it does dramatically change how the thing looks. So this right here is what I'm focused on at the moment. Unfortunately, because of the positioning of my hoppers, it is going to change where these have to be funneled. But once I raise it up a little bit, it won't matter. So I'm going to raise this up one block and restructure where the hoppers funnel to. And I still have plenty of space to walk up here. If I raise it up one block, I will be bumping into these, though. So I might shorten the chains just a little bit. That ought to be fine. Other than that, I'm going to try and duplicate this on the world. You can see I need to do a little bit of glass grinding. I also don't know if I have actual grass. But this design calls for 1, 2, 3, 4, so 8 times 4, 32, because there are 2 of each color. Yeah. It's a bit extensive, and it's very noisy. And I had debated on whether or not I wanted to leave this here so I could change the sorting at any point. It's not particularly necessary, but it does make it a little bit easier so I don't have to go in there. Shall I give you a preview of the interior? Also, don't mind the change in block palette. This was built on a different world, so it's going to look a bit different. I'm also not going to be having these inside, just because I already have a lava sorting system down below, so I don't need it. These are also positioned a little bit differently, but essentially this idea is the same. The wool is going to be on these pieces right here with various labelings. This goes a lot higher because it didn't end up working the way I would like it to, and these also only needed to be 1 wide. Just singular chests, not double chests like all the others. So it saved me on chests just a little bit. I also had this funnel in through this way, but that redstone, whenever it would tick, would lock that hopper. So it kind of messed things up just a bit, which is why I'm glad I went the other direction. And if you were curious of how I changed the actual dispensary setup, the dropper right here had the same filtration area to automatically send things up into the funnel, and then it had even more hoppers to go through. That ended up causing quite a bit of lag, and hopefully without the additional tick of the redstone system over there, it'll be a little bit more efficient, less laggy. And I need to collect at least 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Well, 10's already down there. So at least 9 hoppers per sheep, plus the hopper minecarts. So we're going to say 17 hoppers per side. No. 9 times 4, 36, plus 8, 44. 44 hoppers per side. I can do math. And that does not factor in the additional height or the added hoppers. And maybe I won't do the added hoppers and I'll just structure them a little bit differently so they end up working out properly. Either way, it should end up working. I'm just going to have to do some finagling. And yeah, hopefully we can get started on that next episode. Thank you for enjoying this episode, and I will see you tomorrow. Bye.